Well, hey, Good Life family, thank you guys so much for tuning in for today's 128 moment, coming to you here from Good Life. And I just want to ask you, what is a 128 moment? Like, what is this whole thing that we're doing? Well, I know it started during the more quarantine season where we weren't allowed to gather as a church family, and we started thinking about ways that we could maintain connection together, ways that we could continue to share life with one another. And I think that's still the essence of what a 128 moment is it's a chance for us throughout the week to remind ourselves of kind of the North Star that guides our church family, that leads us, which is to be people who love enough to share in the good news and to share life as well. So as I'm thinking about that today, for today's 128 moment, I just want to remind you a little bit of what it looks like for us to live in that way. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but we're in the middle of an election season, which is fantastic because that means that everything that we see gets to be all about politics. And that's so much fun, isn't it? Well, if you're anything like me, you're kind of over all of that. And it wants to pull our attention and pull our time. And I just want to remind you, if we're going to have a 128 moment today, let me remind you of what we're called to be. That we are called to be a people who love enough to share in the good news of Jesus and share our lives as well. So today, as you watch this at your workplace, people might be debating a debate that happened last night. When you go hang out with people, when you go on social media today, people are probably talking about a Trump versus Biden debate. And what I want to encourage us to do instead is to say, certainly there's merit in the political world and it affects the world around us. However, that is not our first allegiance. That our first allegiance is to the kingdom of God. So for a 128 moment, what if we just took a time out today and reminded our hearts, reminded our souls, and made a conscious decision of, I'm not going to fight for my earthly kingdom today. When those conversations come up, I'm okay to listen. I'm totally fine with you as a Christian sharing your opinion or your thoughts. But ultimately, what has to guide us is not fighting for a political candidate, whatever side you're on. What has to guide us is that we want to turn those conversations, we want to turn our relationships into the most meaningful thing, which is sharing in the good news of Jesus. So do not foreclose your opportunity to share with somebody the good news of Jesus because of an earthly political dispute. Your family, they're tough to talk to about these things. Your coworkers, they're tough to talk to about these things. But don't lose your opportunity to share in the most important truth, the good news of Jesus, because we're going to firmly plant our flag in something political. Our eyes need to be fixed on the kingdom of God. So for today's 128, right now, let's take a deep breath and let's be people who love enough to first and foremost to share the good news of Jesus and share life as well. Thank you guys for sharing life today for this 128 moment. Looking forward to gathering right here in this room on Sunday morning as we worship Jesus together, as we continue to live this 128 lifestyle, to love one another, to share life, and to ultimately share in the good news. We'll also be here online at 9:30. So wherever you're joining us to share life this weekend, love you guys, and we cannot wait to see you again soon.